Hey everybody, this is Ken with Torrins.com. This is a beginner keyboard series designed to get you up and playing as fast as humanly possible. If you want a more in-depth experience with all of the theoretical knowledge, then make sure you check out Chris Rotmeyer's series on Torrins.com as well. Alright, so I know this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's get started. Now when we talk about direction on the keyboard, up, down, I'm going to show you. This way on the keyboard, going from the left to the right, this way up the keyboard, and you can hear the notes getting higher. This is up. So when I talk about up, I'm talking about going from the left to the right. When I say going down, it's the opposite way. Starting on the right and going to the left, this is down, and you can hear the notes getting lower. So down is to the left, up is to the right. And you can easily remember that by your right hand will usually be above your left hand on the keyboard. So this is down, this is up. All right, now let's talk about the sitting position when you're at the keyboard or piano. First things, make sure your feet are a nice width apart, comfortable, relaxed, that your knees are directly under the keyboard and that they're slightly, they're bent so you're in a comfortable position, and that your legs are parallel right here. Next, with your core, talking about your stomach, your abdomen area, make sure that your posture, that you're sitting up straight. Most piano chairs will not have a back on them, so it's important you sit up straight because this allows your body to have a firm base for allowing your arms the freedom of movement. So now that your core of your body is firm, we want to make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, they're not tense. You're just nice, relaxed shoulders. When you start talking about your elbows now, it should be against your body, but not tight. You don't want any tension. You want to make sure that you're feeling very relaxed, very comfortable when you're sitting at the keyboard. Your wrists need to be parallel to the keys this way. So you don't want your wrists too far in, too far out. You want them straight like this, parallel to the keys. With your hands, now you want your fingers slightly curved, like you're holding a softball. Imagine holding a softball or a big ball like this, and you want your fingers curved, but not tense, not like a claw. You want them just curved slightly so that you can move them like this without too much effort. Your wrists are going to be relaxed, and when you play the notes, just a slight wrist movement so that you're lifting your hand just a little bit to add some weight to when you're playing the keys. So make sure that your hands and wrists and that you're always relaxed. You don't want any tension in your hands or wrists. Now with these videos, in order to get the best out of them, you need to practice. It's up to you how much time you want to put in. Obviously, the more time you put in practicing, the quicker you're going to progress. So that's up to you. I always recommend for beginning students between 20 and 30 minutes a day. Sounds like a lot, but you can break it up. Like I like to break my practice sessions up into 2 15-minute sessions. So I'll sit, play for 15 minutes, and take a little break, go do something else, and then come back and play again. It's entirely up to you, whatever you want to do. You can do one session, you can do smaller sessions. But I recommend trying to practice every day or at least every other day so that you don't forget things. Because when you're playing the piano, retention is built on repetition. So the more you practice things, the more you will retain them, the more they'll stick in your mind. Also, when you're going to practice, part of your practicing is listening to music. So when you listen, I'm not talking about just putting something on and listening to it in the background. I'm talking about find a song you like that has piano or keyboard part in it and listen to it with the thought of, how would I play this? How's this person playing this? So that you're doing critical listening, which is different than enjoyment listening. You're listening now to think about how to play certain things, and you're thinking about the keyboard parts. So, take songs that you really like and listen to them a bunch of times and try and isolate the keyboard part and think about how that person is playing that, what chords it is, and start to think about it that way. And listening can be a part of your practicing too. All right, now we're going to get into the mechanics of playing the piano. In order to talk about which fingers we're going to use, we use numbers for the fingers on each hand. And it's very simple. Your thumbs are number 1. Index fingers or pointers, 2, number 2. Your middle fingers, number 3. Your ring fingers, number 4. And your pinkies are number 5. So when I say finger 2 on your left hand, that would be your pointer finger on your left hand. If I say fingers 2 and 3 on your right hand, I'm talking about your pointer and your middle finger. The thing to remember about this is that when you look at your hands, your right hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, goes up your hand left to right, just like the keyboard, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goes left to right. With your left hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going down the opposite way. So using the same fingers on both hands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, means you're going in opposite directions. And that's contrary motion. So even though you're using thumb, pointer, middle, fourth, pinky, your hands are going in opposite directions. This is contrary motion. When you want to go in the same direction, in order to do that with your hands, you have to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with your right hand, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with your left hand. So where your pinky and your thumb are going to be playing at the same time. And see, this is parallel motion. It's the same notes on the keyboard now, but different fingers on your hands. These are two important concepts, contrary motion and parallel motion, so that you understand parallel means you're moving the same notes, but with different fingers. Contrary motion means maybe different notes, but the same fingers. Now that you know what the finger numbers are, we're going to talk about the note names on the keyboard. Each key on the keyboard has a note name. In music, we only use the first 7 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it starts over again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So if I show you on the keyboard, this is A, and it would go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then start over again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's going up the keyboard from left to right. When you go down the keyboard, the pattern goes backwards. So starting on A, then the next note down would be G. So A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Sometimes the notes will skip. So you'll have A, you'll skip B, and you'll go C, and then you'll go E, G. So you need to think about the patterns not only going forwards and backwards, but skipping too. A, C, E, G, B, D, F. And then the opposite where you can start on G, G, B, D, F, A. Noticing these patterns of skipping will help you once we start talking about chords and everything, because chords are going to be coming up and they're just skips within these alphabet names. Now that we know the note names, we're going to talk about the distances between the notes. If you go from one note to the very next note up, whether it's black or white, that's called a half step, because you're going up to the very next note on the keyboard. So if you go up all the white and the black notes like this, playing each one, these are half steps. And when we talk about a whole step, what that is you go from one note, you skip the next note up and go to the next note after that. So you're skipping one note in between. That's why it's a whole step. So when you go from this note to this note, you're skipping the black one in between. That's a whole step. When you go from this note, you see there's no black note in between. So if you go from this note to this note, it's a half step. From this note to this note is a whole step because you're skipping one in between. So half step means you're just going from one note to the very next note if you're going up all of the notes, white and black, on the piano. If you skip one in between, then that's a whole step. If you look at the layout of the keyboard, before starting to talk about all the white notes, I want you to take a look at the black notes on the keyboard and notice the pattern that happens on the keyboard throughout. There will be a group of 2 black notes and a group of 3 black notes. What I want you to do first is identify the group of 2 black notes and play them with your second and third fingers, fingers 2 and 3 of your right hand. Then move up and see if you can find another group of 2 black notes and play those together. Then find another group, and you can move up and down the piano and find these groups of 2 black notes. Once you've done that, then concentrate on the group of 3 black notes. Using 2, 3, and 4 on your right hand, play those 3 black notes, and then find another group of 3 and play those. Finding these groups of black notes is going to help you when we start talking about the white notes. So make sure you can identify each group of 3 and of 2. Now what I want you to do is, using your right hand, using 2 and 3, play each group of black notes, but this time with the notes separate. So use your second finger and then your third finger. 2, 3. Then go up to the next group of black notes, moving right, and then play 2, 3, and 4. Now move up to the next group of black notes, 2 notes, and play 2, 3. Then move up to the group of 3 and play 2, 3, 4. And go all the way up the piano doing this. So you can find, here's a 2, here's a group of 3, here's a group of 2, here's a group of 3. And do the same thing with your left hand, same fingers, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Starting in the middle, 2, 3, and go down, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. I want you to get familiar with where the 2-note and 3-note groups of black notes are on the piano. You can also take both hands, start on different 2-key groups and 3-key groups. So start on a 2-key black group, same fingers, 2 and 3, but they're going to be different notes. Then go to a 3 black key group. So you can start here. You can move it up, maybe start a little higher. And just practice getting these groups, being able to identify them quickly. So you can go, okay, there's a 2-key group, there's a 3 black key group, and you can move between those pretty quickly.